Ladies and gentlemen, time is one of the most precious resources we have. Unlike money, possessions, or status, time is a gift that cannot be earned, saved, or replaced. Once a second, a minute, or a day is gone, it is lost forever. Yet, how often do we find ourselves squandering this priceless asset on things that add no value to our lives? Today, I want to talk about why we must not waste time and how we can make the most of every moment. From the moment we wake up until we lay our heads down to sleep, each second presents an opportunity. It might be a chance to learn something new, take a step toward our goals, connect with loved ones, or even simply recharge our minds and bodies. But far too often we fall into the trap of procrastination, distractions, and unproductive habits, forgetting the immense potential that lies in every passing minute. Why do we waste time? For many of us, it happens without even realizing it. Social media, endless scrolling, binge watching, and idle gossip have become a part of our daily routines. While these activities might provide temporary satisfaction, they often leave us feeling unfulfilled and regretful. There's also a deeper reason behind wasting time: fear. Fear of failure, fear of change, or even fear of success can paralyze us into inaction. Instead of confronting these fears, we escape into distractions, telling ourselves, I'll start tomorrow, or there's always more time. But the truth is, there isn't always more time. Think about this for a moment. The average lifespan is approximately 70 to 80 years. Subtract the time spent sleeping, working, eating, and doing other necessary tasks, and what remains is a surprisingly small fraction of truly free time. When we waste even an hour of our day, we are effectively squandering a piece of that limited, irreplaceable resource. Successful individuals across all walks of life, from scientists and entrepreneurs to artists and athletes, understand the value of time. They treat it as the most critical investment. Every second they spend is directed toward a purpose. Whether it's honing their skills, developing relationships, or simply rejuvenating their minds, these people aren't superhuman. They have the same 24 hours in a day as everyone else. The difference lies in how they choose to use those hours. Now, let's talk about what happens when we start valuing time. Life becomes more meaningful. Each day becomes a step closer to our dreams and aspirations. Small, consistent efforts add up to significant achievements over time. For instance, imagine spending just 30 minutes a day learning a new skill or working on a project. In a year, that adds up to 182 hours. In 5 years, it's 910 hours. That's enough time to master an entirely new discipline or achieve a life-changing goal. So how can we stop wasting time and begin using it wisely? First, we need to identify the activities that consume our time without adding value. For many of us, it's mindless scrolling on our phones, excessive television watching, or endless distraction. Once we're aware of these habits, we can work to minimize or eliminate them. Setting boundaries like limiting screen time or designating specific hours for leisure activities can help. Second, prioritize your goals. Ask yourself, what truly matters to me? When you have a clear vision of your priorities, it becomes easier to allocate your time effectively. Break your goals into smaller, manageable tasks and focus on completing them one step at a time. This approach not only keeps you motivated, but also prevents you from feeling overwhelmed. Third, embrace the power of planning. A well-structured plan for your day, week, or month can be a game changer. By writing down your tasks and scheduling them, you create a roadmap that keeps you on track. However, remember to stay flexible. Life is unpredictable, and being adaptable is key to managing your time effectively. Fourth, learn to say no. One of the biggest culprits of time wasting is taking on tasks or commitments that do not align with your goals. It's okay to decline invitations, projects, or activities that don't serve your purpose. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you focused. Fifth, make self-improvement a priority. Time spent on personal growth is never wasted. Whether it's reading, exercising, meditating, or learning a new skill, investing in yourself pays dividends in every aspect of life. These activities not only make you more productive, but also enrich your life in meaningful ways. Lastly, live in the moment. While planning and goal setting are crucial, don't forget to cherish the present. Worrying about the past or obsessing over the future only steals the joy of the here and now. Be fully present in whatever you do, whether it's working, spending time with loved ones, or simply enjoying a quiet moment. Let me share a story to illustrate the importance of time. There was once a wise teacher who gave his students a jar filled with rocks, pebbles, and sand. He asked them if the jar was full. The students said yes. But then he poured water into the jar, and it seeped through the spaces between the rocks, pebbles, and sand. The teacher explained that the rocks represent the most important things in life: health, family, goals, and dreams. The pebbles represent things that matter but are not essential, and the sand represents the small, trivial things. If we fill our jar with sand first, there's no room for the rocks. But if we focus on the rocks first, everything else will fall into place. Time works the same way. Focus on what truly matters, and you'll always find time for the rest. Before I conclude, let me remind you of this. Wasting time is not just about losing hours or days. It's about losing opportunities. Every moment you waste is a moment you could have spent building your future, making memories, or contributing something meaningful to the world. Let's make a promise to ourselves today to stop wasting time and start living with purpose. Let's use our time to learn, grow, create, and connect. Let's turn every second into a stepping stone toward our dreams. And most importantly, let's remember that our time is our life. Use it wisely, and you'll create a life that is truly extraordinary. Healing from emotional pain requires more than just time. It also requires a shift in mindset. When you go through a painful experience, it's easy to fall into negative thought patterns, dwelling on the past, blaming yourself or others, or feeling like things will never get better. These thoughts can keep you trapped in your pain and prevent you from moving forward. However, by changing the way you think about your experience, you can begin to heal and regain control over your emotions. One of the first steps in shifting your mindset is recognizing that pain is a part of life, but suffering is optional. Painful events happen to everyone, but how you respond to them determines how much they affect you in the long run. Instead of seeing pain as something that will define you forever, try to see it as something that you can learn from. Every challenge carries a lesson, whether it's about resilience, self-worth, or personal growth. By focusing on what you can learn rather than what you have lost, you create a more positive and empowering outlook. Another important shift in mindset is moving from a victim mentality to a survivor mentality. When you go through emotional pain, it's natural to feel like a victim of your circumstances. You may think, why did this happen to me? Or it's so unfair. While these feelings are valid, staying in this mindset can make you feel powerless. Instead, try to see yourself as a survivor. Remind yourself that you have the strength to overcome difficult situations and that you are not defined by what happened to you. You have the power to heal, grow, and create a better future for yourself. Practicing gratitude is another powerful way to shift your mindset. When you are in pain, it can be hard to see anything good in life. However, even in difficult times, there are still things to be grateful for, whether it's supportive friends, good health, or simple pleasures like a beautiful sunset or a comforting meal. Taking time each day to focus on what you are grateful for can help rewire your brain to see the positive aspects of life rather than just the negative ones. Reframing negative thoughts is also essential. Often, when we are hurt, our minds create false beliefs that make the pain worse. For example, after a heartbreak, you might think, I'll never find love again. But this is just a thought, not a fact. Instead of believing these negative thoughts, challenge them. Ask yourself, is this really true, or is this just my pain speaking? By questioning and replacing negative thoughts with more balanced and hopeful ones, you can change your perspective. Finally, remind yourself that healing is a journey, not a destination. You won't wake up one day suddenly free of all pain, but with each step forward, you will become stronger. By shifting your mindset to focus on growth, resilience, and hope, you empower yourself to heal and move forward with confidence and peace. Seeking support is a crucial step in healing from emotional pain. When going through difficult times, many people feel the urge to isolate themselves. They may believe that no one will understand their pain, or they may not want to burden others with their struggles. However, healing becomes much easier when you allow yourself to lean on others. Emotional pain can feel overwhelming when faced alone, but with the right support, the burden becomes lighter. One of the most important aspects of seeking support is recognizing that it is not a sign of weakness. Many people hesitate to ask for help because they feel it makes them look vulnerable. However, vulnerability is not a flaw. It is a natural part of being human. In fact, reaching out for support requires strength. It takes courage to admit that you are struggling and to allow others to be there for you. No one is meant to go through life's challenges alone, and seeking help is a way of showing yourself kindness and care. Talking to someone about your emotions can provide immense relief. Whether it's a close friend, a family member, or a trusted mentor, having someone listen to you can help you process your feelings. Sometimes just expressing your emotions out loud can bring clarity and make the pain feel more manageable. You don't have to have all the answers or even expect the other person to solve your problems. Sometimes simply being heard and understood is enough to bring comfort. If you don't feel comfortable talking to someone in your personal circle, professional support is also an option. Therapists, counselors, and support groups exist to help people navigate emotional struggles. A trained professional can provide valuable guidance, coping strategies, and a safe space for you to express your thoughts without fear of judgment. Seeking therapy is not just for extreme cases. It is beneficial for anyone experiencing emotional distress, no matter how big or small their pain may seem. Support groups can also be a powerful source of healing. Whether it's a grief support group, a mental health community, or an online forum, connecting with others who have gone through similar experiences can help you feel less alone. Knowing that others understand what you are feeling can provide comfort and reassurance. It also gives you the opportunity to learn from others who have successfully healed from similar pain, which can inspire hope and strength. Beyond verbal communication, seeking support can also mean surrounding yourself with positive influences. This could include engaging in spiritual practices, reading self-help books, or listening to motivational talks. Sometimes words of wisdom from others who have overcome hardships can remind you that healing is possible. Most importantly, seeking support helps build resilience. Emotional pain can make you feel isolated, but by allowing others into your healing journey, you create a strong foundation for recovery. There is no shame in needing support. Everyone does at some point. By reaching out and accepting help, you take a crucial step toward healing, growth, and emotional well-being. Letting go and moving forward is one of the most challenging but necessary steps in healing from emotional pain. When we experience hurt, betrayal, or loss, it is natural to hold on to the pain, whether consciously or unconsciously. We replay past events, dwell on what went wrong, or wish things had turned out differently. However, holding on to pain only prolongs suffering. True healing begins when we release the past and allow ourselves to move forward with peace and hope. One of the first steps in letting go is accepting that the past cannot be changed. No matter how much we wish things had happened differently, we cannot go back and undo what has already occurred. Holding on to regrets, resentment, or guilt only keeps us stuck in a cycle of pain. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, shifting our mindset toward what we can learn from the experience can be empowering. Every challenge, no matter how painful, carries valuable lessons. It may teach us about our strengths, boundaries, or the kind of people and situations we should avoid in the future. Forgiveness is another key part of letting go. This does not mean that we condone the actions of those who have hurt us, nor does it mean forgetting what happened. Instead, forgiveness is about releasing the emotional burden that keeps us tied to the past. Holding on to anger and resentment only harms us, not the person who caused the pain. By choosing to forgive, whether it's another person or even ourselves, we free ourselves from the weight of negative emotions and create space for inner peace. Letting go also requires breaking free from negative thought patterns. Often our minds keep replaying painful memories, making it difficult to move on. One way to overcome this is through mindfulness and self-awareness. When we catch ourselves thinking about the past, we can gently remind ourselves that those thoughts no longer serve us. Instead of dwelling on what we cannot change, we can redirect our focus toward the present moment and the future we want to create. Meditation, journaling, and practicing gratitude are all helpful tools in shifting our perspective and breaking free from past pain. Another essential aspect of moving forward is taking proactive steps to create a fulfilling life. This can include setting new goals, pursuing hobbies, strengthening relationships, or making positive lifestyle changes. When we engage in activities that bring us joy and purpose, we gradually replace pain with new, meaningful experiences. Moving forward does not mean that we forget the past, but it does mean that we no longer allow it to control our present and future. Healing is a journey, and letting go does not happen overnight. It requires patience, self-compassion, and a commitment to growth. However, by consciously choosing to release pain, forgive, and focus on the future, we give ourselves the gift of peace and emotional freedom. Moving forward is not about erasing the past, but about embracing the present and opening ourselves to new possibilities.